Well, hello, everyone. A lot of questions have been coming up regarding former President Donald Trump and the presidential election and his ability to be on the state ballots for president. At present, Colorado and Maine have banned Donald Trump from the ballot based on what they are saying is the 14th Amendment. We'll go through that in a minute. There are two other states that are moving to ban President Trump, and that is Illinois and Massachusetts. There are lawsuits in 14 states seeking to try and get him removed from the ballot. And there are two states that have expressly come out and said that they will definitely keep Donald Trump on the ballot, and that is California and Michigan. Now, before I talk anything about the law here, I want to make it very clear. This is not a political post. I am not posting this to either support or go against former President Trump. We are not doing this to support any particular candidate or any particular party. The only thing we're going to address is my interpretation of the law on this issue. Nothing about politics, nothing about the politics involved, nothing about anything that anyone has done that would disqualify them or to be illegal. It is just to talk about the 14th Amendment here. So very, very clear. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about anyone's political ideologies or whether someone should or should not be on a presidential ballot. So let's go to the heart of the matter. Colorado and Maine have stated that, based on their interpretation, that Donald Trump cannot be on the ballot because of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. So let's look at that 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment has several sections to it. We're not going to worry about all the different sections because the only section that really applies here is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. So let me read that to you and then let you digest it for a second. Section 3 states that no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president. And here's the key part, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States, president would be an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, and here comes the crux of it, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Okay, so the key part here is, did President Trump take an oath of office? He did. We all saw it when he was sworn in as president. Did he serve as an officer of the United States? Well, he served as president of the United States. Okay, so Section 3 would apply to him here. All right, but then here's where Colorado and Maine are really latching onto things. They're saying shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same. Okay, so the big issue I think that you should be looking at here as you're watching the news and you're seeing the various challenges in both courts and in state legislatures is shall have engaged in insurrection. So what Colorado and Maine are saying is that based on Donald Trump's actions on January 6th with the January 6th riots at the U.S. Congress, that they feel that he has engaged in insurrection or rebellion. Well, here's the thing. The first question is, did he engage in insurrection or rebellion? I think that is really a big question here. And the big part is, who is to determine that? The Constitution doesn't specifically say who gets to decide whether he engaged in insurrection or rebellion. Even if it did, then the big question would be, he hasn't been convicted of anything. There's been a number of crimes charged against him, but he hasn't been convicted in a court of engaging in any insurrection or rebellion. So the courts aren't saying that he participated in this. It's the state legislatures in their interpretation saying, hey, he was there, he participated. Well, we didn't see President Trump at the actual Capitol. We didn't see him climbing through any windows. We didn't see him going through Congress or anything like that. All we saw was he was at a lectern at the rally and said, hey, let's go on down and let everyone know what we think. Is that engaging in an insurrection? Was there a plan at that time that they should go down and engage in insurrection? Did he prompt that on? No one really knows because we're each interpreting it in our own ways. A logical person could say that he did engage, but a logical person could also say he didn't engage. And who is to decide this? The U.S. Constitution doesn't specify really who gets to determine and when they get to determine if a person engaged in insurrection or rebellion. So a lot of people just jumping in and saying he did or he didn't, that is just opinion, but the Constitution doesn't give any leeway as to whether or not a particular person's opinion counts or doesn't count. So there's two ways that this could really go in my opinion. The first is built into Section 3, and it states, but Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. So since Colorado and Maine have indicated that he has a disability, he cannot be on the ballot, the Congress could remove any question regarding this by a 2/3 vote and saying that no matter what, he does not have this disability and therefore Section 3 would not apply to him. Given how bipartisan the Congress is and how much they don't like to work with each other right now, I find it very doubtful that you're going to get a 2/3 majority of Congress to say that such disability should be removed. So we can take that clause out. I don't think that's likely to happen. The next thing that probably should happen is each state is going to be making their determination. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court, which is the only court, believe it or not, that is sanctioned by the U.S. Constitution, it's specifically set up. All the other courts aren't specifically set up by the U.S. Constitution, but the Supreme Court, their job really is to jump in when the states are all looking at a legal issue differently. The U.S. Supreme Court's job is to get everyone on the same page. In my opinion, right now, we've got states interpreting the U.S. Constitution on this issue differently. California and Michigan are looking at this and saying we don't see a disability. Colorado and Maine are jumping on and saying we do. Illinois and Massachusetts are in the wings, and then we've got the 14 other states that are going to go through their state courts on this issue. So I think at some point the U.S. Supreme Court is probably going, even though they don't want to, I think they're probably going to have to step in here and make it clear what does engage in insurrection or rebellion mean, and when does that determination get to be made. I think they need to give us some guidance here as to when we could say a person did or did not participate in something and who gets to make that determination. Once we have that, once we have the playbook, then we can all play by the rules. So again, this is not designed to say that he should or should not be on the ballot. It is not designed to say that one particular political ideology is better. It is basically to say this is a non-political post. Here is the way I interpret I'm interpreting the law here. Ultimately, it's going to be for us, the U.S. Population, to kind of make the ultimate decisions at the ballot box. And hopefully this will give you some insight into what is going on with this 14th Amendment as you see it on TV, because you're going to be seeing a lot of this talking about the 14th Amendment. And it's really important that you go and you read it for yourself and you develop your own ideas as to what it means here. That's the beauty of the U.S. Constitution. Our founding fathers gave us this tool here, and it's really for us to interpret it and what they meant by it when they created it. That's the job of the U.S. Supreme Court, and I think the U.S. Supreme Court is probably going to have to weigh in here one way or the other. So I hope this brings some clarity to you. If you have any additional questions, you can always reach out to us. You can always check us out on the web at penglazandbenson.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So I hope this helps. Have a great day.